Hello everyone and welcome to round number 6 of the Volkswagen Scirocco League here with NXTGEN Racing. We are looking back on round number 6 from Brands Hatch. It was an interesting race from what I believe. I am unaware of the race results, of course, fortunately, due to the time I was commentating, but unfortunately Twitch was having a few technical difficulties on Thursday, which meant that the stream that I'd done didn't save the way that I'd hoped. So I'm commentating on the events of what happened once again, and so hopefully this race will be very, very exciting to watch. 7 drivers for Thursday night's race in Lobby 1. We had a few drivers unable to make the race, but nonetheless we will go through it. Now, before we go through the 7 drivers that are on the grid, I just want to have a reminder of the championship standings after 5 rounds. So Scirocco, who start from the back for this race, leads the championship on 90 points. D Whitehouse, second in the championship, is on 69 points. Bruce Lee Hardin, third on 64. Timmy DJG on 62 points in 4th place. Those 4 drivers who you can see at the moment in their respective positions, you can see there 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th, they had a top 4 reverse grid, which is why they're starting in those particular places. 5th place in the championship was Jordan on 58 points. He was one of the 3 that were allowed to qualify. CRT Burnt Fry 699, not in the race on Thursday night, unfortunately. He was on 52 points. D10 Piper, who's on the front row of the grid, was on 47 points. P Gibb for pole, he's on 46, and indeed did get pole position for Brands Hatch. Slow Seamus on 41 and Ruddo 24 on 37 to round up the top 10 drivers. Unfortunately, those 2 aforementioned couldn't make Thursday night's race, but we are able to commentate on it, which is fortunate. Hopefully this will be a good race for everyone to watch, and we'll see how the events unfold. So let's go on to play. P Gibb on that left hand side, you can see the red and blue car. D10 Piper in the orange car, and we're getting ready for the start, and it's underway. Looks like a relatively slow start from the front 3. Timmy looking for all sorts of positions to try and go up the inside. Jordan's on the inside of D10 Piper. He's up to 2nd, but he's lost it immediately. Timmy with a fantastic start. He got himself up to 2nd straight off the bat. D Whitehouse in 3rd on the brakes at the inside of Timmy. These 2 former rivals, of course, from the Renault Megane Trophy last season. And D Whitehouse gets himself straight into 2nd. D10 Piper's dropped from 2nd to 7th. So, terrible start for him, unfortunately. But it's all clean. It's all good to see. So, D Whitehouse in 2nd. Timmy 3rd. Bruce Lee 4th. He's trying to fend off, well, rather, a bit of a misleading camera angle. In fact, look at D10 Piper's going up the inside of Scirocco. That's not a move you often see, and he's got through. Scirocco probably surprised at that. Don't normally see many drivers fighting Scirocco near the front, so he's got a little bit of a fight on his hands tonight. Well, I say tonight, Thursday night. So Scirocco in 7th, probably surprised by that move. D10 Piper, he's got Jordan in front of him. Oh, a little bit sideways from Scirocco in the background. There's Bruce Lee in 4th place. That's Jordan went a little bit wide, and D10 Piper followed him. He's going to have to try and fight off Scirocco. In fact, he doesn't. He just goes straight past as Scirocco. Almost looked like he let him through, maybe, the D10 Piper there. But P Gibb leads. Not the first time he's led this season. Did lead at Tsukuba. Did P Gibb. But at the moment, he's leading the way at Brands Hatch. And he's got a little bit of a buffer to D Whitehouse at the moment. Then it's Timmy in 3rd. After that lightning launch, just couldn't quite capitalise it on the way he wanted it. And there's Bruce Lee in 4th. Jordan into the gravel trap there. Got to be careful on that one. Bruce Lee looking to the inside in that Person IT Solutions car. You can just see he's just following Timmy at the moment, looking for any potential opportunity he can get. And there's Jordan's got Mr. Tesco himself, Scirocco behind him. Ooh, little bit of grass kicked up there from the drivers ahead, going through Surtees and McLaren. Just ride on board with Bruce Lee Hardin for a little while. You can see at the moment Timmy just putting a little bit of pressure on D Whitehouse for them in the moment. He's free, very close together on circuit. Jordan having to defend as well from Hirakram. It looks like Hirakram, I believe, is on the inside. No, doesn't quite. Looks to the outside at Graham Hill Bend. Doesn't quite make it. Then he gets the cut back through Graham Hill. This is a position that Hirakram needs realistically early on in this race, and he does get past. So he's got time now as Hirakram to just get himself back up to where we'd normally expect him to be. We know how quick Hirakram is as a driver. As Bruce Lee, D Whitehouse currently in second place. Good showing from Pete Gibb at the moment. He's leading the way after the opening 4 laps. It's got a nice little margin to D Whitehouse, but very early on in this race, still a long way to go. You see Timmy just doing his best. D Whitehouse runs a little bit wide out of Druids. Down on the brakes in 3rd gear. The Scirocco's a little bit slower than the McGann counterparts that we have on Thursday nights. By about 2 or 3 seconds, despite them having the same amount of power. As Brucey's in 4th place now. Hirakram hasn't taken him long to just latch himself onto the back of that group. Not too far away. There's Jordan in 6th, D10 Piper in 7th, setting 46s at the moment is D10. It's pretty much the same as what Jordan's doing, who's flirting with the gravel trap going through Paddock Hill Bend. You can see the other drivers just in the 45s and the 46s, so the pack quite close in terms of lap time. Pete Gibb just slipped into the 46 on that lap. He's been doing low 46s so far most of this race. But I say most of this race, we're only 4.5 minutes into the session. There's still another 15.5 to go. D Whitehouse has gone a little bit deep into clearways. Wouldn't want that, would D Whitehouse, in terms of the momentum coming off the corner. You just see Timmy closing that gap on his rival. D Whitehouse having to defend now going into turn number 2. On the outside, he's got to be careful he doesn't go too wide. Might present an opportunity for Bruce Lee, who's being entertained now by Hirakram. So he's just eased onto the back of the cars as Hirakram just about dragged Jordan with him. Jordan, who'd done a personal best on that lap of 45.8. Just extending the gap a little bit to D10 Piper, but he can see them there. That's the key point. He doesn't want to lose the train too much. But they need to ensure that they keep on top of the action. They need to make sure that they're just keeping themselves clean at the moment. See Bruce Lee now a little bit closer to Timmy than what he would have expected. In fact, Bruce Lee taking a unique line through Paddock Hill Bend. It's going to cost him a bit of momentum. Hirakram looks to the outside, but in these Scirocco it's very difficult to go around the outside of someone. Don't quite have the same bite and turning that the McGanns would, so that's not realistically a viable line. But I've said these things before in the past and things tend to change. So at the moment it's line astern as they come on to effectively what will be lap 9. D Whitehouse getting a little bit wide out of clearways again. So struggling a little bit with the front left. Not in terms of tyre wear, of course, there is no tyre wear in this league. D Whitehouse defends the inside. Timmy brakes later. Bruce Lee taking an alternative line. They're all taking different lines to one another at the moment. It's a very difficult race at the moment, but a little bit of a nudge. Timmy's gone deep into the corner. Just caught that, and Timmy's lost the position. So Timmy down to third, down to fourth from third. And look at this, Bruce Lee now going to get 2 places. Timmy's trying to go around the outside. That would have been really dangerous for him. Just about holds it on circuit. Timmy fights another day, just about, despite Hirakram giving his best impressions on that rear left quarter. And here comes Jordan. Jordan now up the inside of Hirakram. So what's he going to do? Is he going to try and look to brake later? Hirakram's got a little bit of momentum from that slipstream. Jordan's there on the inside, and Jordan gets through. And it all started a lap prior at this corner going into Druids. And sure enough, Jordan's gone too deep. And that's just allowed Hirakram just to get that place back within a couple of corners. So all change in that second place fight. Absolutely fantastic to watch. You see Timmy down to 4th. He just got his braking all wrong when he was trying to fight D Whitehouse, and that was that. He just flew off the circuit and lost the position to Bruce, who's now up to 2nd thanks to that opportunist overtake at Graham Hill Bend. But look at this gap that P. Gibb has at the moment. He's got a lovely margin to the drivers in front. It's about 3 or 4 seconds at the moment. You can just see D Whitehouse looking to defend again from Timmy. Here comes Mr. Tesco on the inside, and Hirocram's made his car there. He's closed the door on Timmy, and Hirocram goes through into 4th position. It's a really good fighting scrap between these 5 drivers, because Jordan's right involved in the mix as well. You can see just taking different lines again as everyone trying to get the best momentum out of the corner. D10 Piper's still involved. He'll need a little mistake or an accident for the cars in front. As you can see now, D Whitehouse trying to defend on the inside from Hirocram. Just moves his car in front of Hirocram, shuts the door off of Hirocram as well. It's really good defensive driving from the Club 100 driver. So on the inside is D Whitehouse, and just about shut the door on the championship leader. So really good defensive driving from D Whitehouse there to keep hold of that last spot on the podium. Timmy be looking to see what he can do as well. Got to be careful. Jordan's not too far behind. D Whitehouse has gone deep again into clearways. That's the opportunity that Hirocram needed. And is he going to clear D Whitehouse before he gets through the little right-handed kink? He does. Hirocram up to 3rd. Exactly what he needed if he wants to make any impression on the 2 cars in front of him. Still defending his Hirocram. D Whitehouse not giving this up. Timmy still looking for a potential move, and Jordan just waiting for his opportunity. So halfway through the race, would you believe it, ladies and gentlemen, halfway through the race at the moment. Absolutely fantastic fighting on this 1.2 mile circuit. Still another half to go. You can see already Hirocram worked his way off the front splitter of D Whitehouse. Now he's off and up into the potential slipstream of Bruce Lee, which is what he's going to be looking for. You can see him taking that interesting line through turn 1. Here comes Timmy now on the outside. Can he try and make a move? Again, it's going to be quite difficult. D Whitehouse breaks later. Jordan follows them through, but he's managed to keep it tight, and he's got Timmy. Up to 5th then goes Jordan in the Boyd transport car. Gets a little nudge from Timmy as well coming out of Graham Hill Bend. That'll keep him in front of the green sort of chromish coloured car. Wow, great fighting between everyone. Just little mistakes, just allowing opportunities for everyone to switch back. A D10 Piper, I said he wasn't too far behind. He's just about dragged himself onto the back of the fight now, which is looking like 4th place at the moment. Despite there only being 7 cars on the grid, there's a lot of fighting. Jordan right in the sandwich at the moment. He's going to try and go to the outside of D Whitehouse. Not realistically a move that can pay off. And sure enough, he just stays in between the 2 fighting rivals. Hirocram has now jumped onto the back of Bruce Lee, and he's already through. That was easy for Bruce Lee Harden. He just went straight past it, Hirocram. Didn't think Bruce wanted to fight that one too much. And Hirocram up to 2nd. The gap to P. Gibb at the current moment in time is about 4, maybe 4.5 seconds. A long way to go. Jordan's up to 4th, but D Whitehouse is still on the inside line. Little bit of contact between the 2. Jordan's trying to get to the inside, but he can't quite make it. Timmy's on the grass. He just about stays on the circuit. D10 Piper moves up the inside. D Whitehouse now goes deep, and Jordan goes back up to 4th. Brilliant driving from everyone. D Whitehouse has forced D10 wide, and D10's gone round almost, and that, unfortunately, as quick as he joined on the back, has lost the group. Realised just how close D10 was to the side of his car, and that was that, unfortunately. It's like D Whitehouse is still struggling with a struggling throttle. Did say that he's been having throttle issues in the last few races. You could just see his throttle was blipping a little bit there. And Timmy trying to go around the outside at Paddock Hill Bend. Now this would be a good move. Right on the limit. Jordan goes to the inside. Timmy tries to go around the outside. This is great driving. Timmy still there for Graham Hill Bend. Timmy's still there. He's going to go to the inside and he's done it. He's got the move. That's a fantastic overtake from Timmy round the outside at Paddock Hill. Held it through Druids and got the move completed at Graham Hill. That's a really good overtake. Brilliant driving. You could just see the throttle blipping on D. Whitehouse's Scirocco. Still plagued by those throttle issues. It's unfortunate for him, but he just has to try and struggle on if he can. Hirocram's just gapped Bruce Lee Harden a little bit now. There's still 6.5 minutes left of this session remaining. Still a lot of time for more overtakes and fighting. Brilliant racing at the moment. Really good to watch. Hirocram, best laps coming in at the moment, 45.7. P. Gibbs still has fastest lap overall. He did a 45.8 on this lap. What does Hirocram do? 45.9. So Hirocram not as of yet making the inroads that you would expect. Still effectively a quarter of this race left to go. As you can see, Jordan just defending again from Timmy as they go into Druids. Timmy trying to use that outside line, but hasn't quite worked out this time around. It worked for him against D. Whitehouse, and D. Whitehouse has retired. Effectively, he's pulled over to the side. That's his race done. Promoted D10 Piper up to 6th, but outside of his little cameo fighting in for 5th place, that's it for D10. I don't think he's going to make any more progress than that. Timmy's still trying to fend off. I'll start rather make the advances on Jordan, but at the moment it's not happening. Jordan has a penalty to try and clear. Should be able to clear that corner by corner, but Timmy's got a really good run coming out of Paddock Hill Bend. He has to switch to the outside though. Going to try and make that line work is Timmy, but he'll keep trying. Timmy certainly doesn't quit. He's a very good driver. He's just on the back of the Boyd Transport driver at the moment. Still giving it his all. Bruce Lee just slipping away from Hirocram now. He's been doing 46s the last 3 laps. 45.9 on the last lap, so he gets into the 45s, but there's Hirocram doing 45.8s, and he's took a couple of tenths out of P. Gibb in the last few laps. Since lap 17 he's taken roughly half a second out of P. Gibb, the long time race leader. He's led from lights to lap 21 as it stands. Is Gibb looking for a first race win. It's been talked about for a long time for Gibb, and there are many opportunities that he's had in the last number of seasons in Gran Turismo Sport. He's not quite got the result he's deserved, but he's not put a foot wrong in these 16.5 minutes. He's still got 3.5 minutes left in this session though. He's got to do it knowing that Hirocram is advancing on him. Took for half a second that last lap. The championship leader not giving up without a fight. He never does, of course. The gap between them, I'd say, is roughly about 2.8 seconds. I'd say. You can see a little bit of dust kicked up from Gibb. You can tell he's trying. Still 3 minutes left in this session to try and fend off the Hirocram. But meanwhile, speaking of fending off, Jordan still stuck with Timmy. It's really close between these two. They've been stuck together for the whole time. Be a good result for Jordan if he can hold on. And he's now cleared that penalty. Took him a few laps to get rid of it, but around this circuit he can carry the penalties, of course. Timmy trying to go around the outside again. Look at it, Timmy still there. Gets a nice line through Graham Hill Bend. Again, he's just not close enough at the moment, is Timmy. It's a very difficult circuit to overtake on in these Sciroccos, but you could see Timmy trying different lines through Surtees McLaren, trying to go around the outside of clearways. Gets a nice application in the throttle, but Jordan just defending instantly, not giving any opportunity. Not even giving an inch of space on the inside. It's going to take something special from Timmy to try and get past Jordan. Tries to do the switch back through Paddock Hill Bend, but Jordan covers instantly, but he's not covered enough this time. But Timmy's just not far enough alongside. There's D10. D Whitehouse just stayed there. Gibbs still leads. What a monumental result it would be for him if he could take that first win. I do recall in the McGanns, I believe, he'd crashed out in the same race earlier on in the night. He's got 1.5 minutes to go, and you just think that with the gap that he has, despite Heracram setting the new fastest lap of the race, he's just doing enough. Can he hold on? He's got a nice buffer, doesn't have to push too hard now. Bruce Lee in third, another podium for him this season as it stands. Jordan still fending off Timmy. Those two fighting hard have just brought D10 Piper back into the mix. He's not going to join them in time, unfortunately. But this has been his most competitive showing yet from D10 Piper, despite... And I know that would sound peculiar to the people listening, but he's not really had the opportunity, race fighting pace as D10. He's been thereabouts. But he's been really impressive in round 6 so far. Drivers effectively going on to the final laps. 30 seconds remain in the session, so it's certainly the last lap for these two. Timmy doing everything he can now. Can he try and go around the outside like he did before? He's alongside Jordan, but he's gone deeper into the corner than he would have wanted. Jordan keeps it. Jordan keeps the position, so we'll cut back to P. Gibb. I think this is going to be it. It's going to be the last lap. He takes his time. He's got past it all. Finally, he's going to do it. It's a race win for P. Gibb 92. He takes the victory. Heracram takes second. Bruce Lee is third. Jordan's just going to fend off Timmy in the end after a brilliant fight between the two of them. Great performance for Jordan. He'll be happy with fourth. Timmy fifth. D10 sixth place. D Whitehouse will realise that the race is over and move forward, but this man from lights to flag has finally done it. P. Gibb 92 takes his first win after what has been an arduous journey. Crashes, mistakes, problems, but he's got there in the end, and P. Gibb will no doubt have been so happy to get that result. It's a fantastic drive. No one will begrudge him of it. A popular fan favourite in the lobby chats. He's managed to get a result. He will no doubt be thrilled. What a race. Great racing from everyone. The fight for second earlier on in the race was wonderful to watch. Heracram extends his championship advantage as well, which is important for him. He's race win clear now of everyone else. A lot of work to do for the rest of the championship contenders. But that's it from Lobby 1. Wonderful race to see. Really good action. P. Gibb getting that first ever race victory in the Scirocco, so he's going to be well chuffed with that. Do tune in a few moments time. You will be seeing Lobby 2's action of the race at Brands Hatch, where they also had a top 4 championship reverse grid. It's going to be fascinating to see how those drivers get along, but for the time being, the Sciroccos will be back with live action next Thursday for race number 7. That's going to be a really good event to see. Everyone will be allowed to again qualify for this race. If you're wondering where the track will be for race number 7, well, it's an interesting one. It's a very interesting circuit is what it is. But in terms of who's going to win the race, it's going to be tricky. It's going to be very tricky to see who's going to get that victory. Who's going to be able to... Is Heracram going to be able to keep up his performances? He's come back again. Can he get another race win? Can he do it at Fuji? That's the key point. Can he do it at Fuji Speedway? Very difficult circuit, especially in the Sciroccos with front wheel drive. But in any case, thank you very much for watching, wherever you might be in the big wide world. Have a good one, and see you shortly.